A short stay in hell. It begins with a mistake, not a crime, not a sin, not some catastrophic moral failure. A mistake. The narrator dies and expects what most people expect. Judgment, heaven, hell, some version of the afterlife promised by religion. Instead, he discovers he chose the wrong religion. The horror begins with a disturbing possibility. The universe may not be empty after all. The problem is that whatever occupies it doesn't resemble the kind of God people pray to. Stephen L. Peck takes a concept that sounds almost absurd and turns it into one of the most existentially terrifying books ever written. The narrator finds himself standing before a demonic librarian who calmly explains the situation. He wasn't a bad person, he simply believed the wrong thing, and now he must spend time in hell. Fortunately, it's only temporary. There is a way out. He simply needs to find a single book in a library. The problem is the library contains almost every possible book that could ever exist. Every variation of every sentence, every arrangement of every letter, every life story that happened, every life story that didn't. Every book that almost says what you're looking for. And somewhere among them, one book that perfectly describes his life. Find it, and he's free. That sounds manageable. Until you understand the numbers. The library is not merely large, it is effectively infinite. Shelves stretch beyond the horizon, beyond sight, beyond comprehension. Floors upon floors. Rooms beyond rooms. Corridors vanishing into distances so vast they stop feeling physical. Human language breaks trying to describe it. And that's exactly the point. Because a short stay in hell is not about punishment. It's about scale. We are terrible at understanding large numbers. 1,000 feels big. 1,000,000 feels bigger. 1,000,000,000 feels enormous. But eventually numbers stop meaning anything at all. Infinity is not just a bigger number. It is a different category of reality. The narrator begins searching. At first, he's optimistic, methodical, rational. Surely with enough effort, he'll find the correct book eventually. Days pass, then years, then centuries, and he barely scratches the surface. That is when the true horror emerges. Because hell isn't fire, it isn't torture, it isn't demons tearing flesh. It's time. Endless, incomprehensible time. The library fills with others searching for their own books. Some form relationships. Some create communities. Some abandon hope entirely. Some throw themselves from the shelves, only to awaken again and continue existing. Death doesn't work. Madness doesn't help. Nothing changes the task. Find the book. The story never relies on explosive confrontations, shocking twists, or epic struggles between good and evil. Instead, just one person confronting a scale of existence that makes individual life seem microscopic, meaningless, and yet somehow still precious. Death is frightening because it reminds us that our time is finite. Yet that same limit may be what gives life its significance. Knowing that something cannot last forever is often what makes it worth cherishing in the first place.